Hail, hail, and welcome to edition 20 of the Temporary Stand podcast. This week sees the return of some of the lads. While Marty is busy with a child, and while Johns suffers with a hangover, it's left to myself, John and Fra to get back to work after the summer of interviews. A short edition this week as the lads discuss the pre-season that's just about finished. We discuss the upcoming European match against Helsinki and the current state squad. Much like the SPL, this is a practically hunting-free zone as the guys refuse the chance to even discuss the big Ramsden Cup match today. As always, we hope you enjoy this podcast, and I've nothing left to say, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, well it's the 29th of July, it's just after 9 o'clock, and on the line I've got Johnny from Glasgow.
How you doing?
And down the road I'm joined by Fraser.
How you doing?
I'm not bad, not bad. Okay, well, we'll steam ahead. We'll look at what's happened over the past month since Nannies have got together and we've no spoke at all and we've just been interviewing people. But Celtic's pre-season started, so we kicked off with a wee tour of Germany. We went on and we drew nothing each with Augsburg. We get beat off a team called Stuttgart Kickers and we beat a team called VFR Allen 2-1. And then we headed over to Ajax and got our arses handed to us. Did any see the game? Did any see the goals? Johnny?
I've seen the highlights and the defence just looked comical. You know, just all over the place, kind of schoolboy. At one point I seen Wanyama just standing there and the guy rolled the ball across. So, but I think we ditched that 3 at the back at half time. So that's that. Sun died now, 3 at the back.
Fraser, did you see any of it?
I seen basically all the highlights of all the Germany games and the Ajax game. And one of the things I think we even mentioned it as well, that it was a real focus on fitness, and the team before they'd played day games had literally done no ball work whatsoever. And you could pretty much see that, to be honest. The Ajax game was really disheartening to see.
Is that right? So you heard that we didn't work on ball work, so we went back to the old school of running each other into oblivion, aye?
Well, for what I've heard is it was pretty much guaranteed we were going to get a team that were near enough well into their season. Well, it wasn't guaranteed, sorry, but a lot of the teams...
common sense, aye.
Aye, a bit, like the Scandinavian teams, for example, would have been well into their season. So if we were going to get one of them, it was very high priority. I think they're basically just trying to avoid another, like, getting caught cold. What was the Dutch mob that beat us, you know what I mean? Utrecht or whatever.
Yeah.
The team weren't fit, and you could clearly see they weren't fit, whereas Utrecht were.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just really going down the road to avoid that.
I actually watched the Ajax game. I had that Premier Sports on, and I was happy to see it was on until it started. I thought it was really poor, and we blamed the formation and stuff. Possession's pathetic. It was pathetic in the game, but once again, just come back to what you're saying. Do you lose the plot and go mental and start flinging the toties out the pram, and just like Johnny said, do you fling formations out because it's no worked in a friendly? I don't think so. I've said to boys, I don't really think there was any point in getting upset in friendlies because we know what this whole team can do. So there's no really any point in going, he's crap, he never turned up. We know what they can do. So we'll pass on Ajax. Ajax was a badging. We brought the team home and we played Norwich City. I think both these were there, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. No, I wasn't there.
So Fraser, right, you were at the game, so what did you think of the Norwich game?
Norwich game, well, obviously it was night and day compared to the Ajax game in regards to the effort of the team. I was actually quite positive about a few performances. There was a lot of guys thought the team as a whole were poor. I thought Samaras played really well. I also thought Twardzik played brilliant. When Wanyama came on, Wanyama's just an absolute level above, in my opinion. He just he settled the whole team down. I thought defensively, the boy Vaughan up front for Norwich caused us all sorts of problems, which was quite worrying considering, I mean, he's kinda a kind of guy that's never got a game anywhere.
Is this the fella who was at Everton for a long time?
Yes, right, yes, okay. It is, and he was a very highly rated prospect.
Yeah, we've been linked with him today. So
There you go. I thought he'd a really, really good game. So I wasn't too down about it. Norwich's goal, I'm positive, was miles offside. The big guy, Grant Holt, who's an absolute beast, by the way, as well. But, no, it was a bit better considering you'd seen all the other games. You could see it was actually starting to take shape. James Forrest looked pretty good as well when he came on, very direct and all that, you know. So, it was certainly a bit better to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've got to agree with you. I would let them away with the 1-0 defeat. It was a sucker punch for a friendly, but it goes back to what you were saying, that they looked fitter, they looked more cohesive, they looked as if they'd stepped up themselves because they know what's coming up. Big Samaras looked, ultimately we should have won the game that night. I thought we missed a couple of pinches, we hit the bar a couple of times, Commons looked good and stuff like that. So we move on to there, and I wasn't at the game on Saturday. Both yous were at the game on Saturday. So start with you, Johnny. What was your feelings coming back for the Inter game on Saturday?
I was really positive. Thought we played really well. I mean, Inter are just, they're not long into their pre-season, but they had a pretty strong team out. They had Milito, Snyder, Cambiasso and Zanetti were all playing, and I thought Celtic played really well until Commons had to go off injured when they'd made all our subs. And Inter kind of pummeled us for the last kind of 5 minutes, and then they scored. But for the whole game, we were excellent. I mean, as he looks as though he's getting back to his best, he was bombing in the wing the full game. Him and Samaras seem to work well together. And Matthews get man of the match at the game, but I didn't really notice him doing that much, but I don't know what I was doing if I missed him being man of the match, but I thought Izagüe was the standout performer. And Lustig looked okay at the back, which is a bit strange, but I don't know what we're going to do Wednesday night with the defence, but he looked no bad on Saturday as well.
What formation were we playing?
Playing 4-4-2.
So we went back to 4-4-2. Fraser, anything to add on to that?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Just on the team for Wednesday, I believe that Lustig will drop out and Wanyama will go back and somebody will come into the midfield. But I'll just touch on what John said, I was really, really positive. I thought it was an excellent performance against a very, very strong Inter Milan team. I think that Inter Milan team, about 3 players out of that team, were not first teamers. Even Freddie Guarin, new signing for Porto, I thought he was excellent, but I thought Big Victor in the middle of the park just absolutely bossed it, man. The guy is just in a different level, you know. And it was Chris Commons, the goal was fantastic. The fact that it was like pre-worked as well.
Yeah, it was good.
When Brew played it over to him and he took it in the volley, it was just excellent. I love seeing stuff like that we're working on our free kicks and stuff, you know. I think they looked okay because there was only one up front, in all honesty. So it was like one guy against 4 ultimately. But I'm not taking anything away. He did look okay. But great performance for the team against a very strong Inter Milan side.
Just to be interested, did Bangura come on at any point?
He did.
And how did
He came in the first half because Stokes went off injured.
Stokes went off injured that early?
Yeah, he went off injured in the first half.
Yeah. Earned his ankle.
It was quite an innocuous challenge as well, him and Cambiasso at the touchline. He's only twisted it.
Right,
so
okay.
he should be back for Wednesday, but Commons is more doubtful, they're saying.
Right, alright.
Hooper didn't do much in the game.
No, he was quiet.
Hooper was quiet. But there was one point in the second half where he chased the ball back for a good 40 yards and won the ball back, which was good to see, because it wasn't happening for him in an attacking sense at all.
So, a mixed pre-season, I think we would say, but as everybody has rightly noted in the past, we've had pre-season, we've been awful, and we've went and won things, and we've had pre-season. So, anyway, ultimately pre-season's kind of leading us on to playing Helsinki, who eventually beat Reykjavik 9-1 over the 2 legs, in the Champions League second qualifier. So the game this Wednesday, I think it's a 7:15 kick-off at Celtic Park. Just a couple of wee facts about Helsinki before we have a wee bit of talking about them. They've actually won the league for the last 3 times in Finland. Currently, they're sitting second in the league. They're 3 points behind Inter Turku, and that's with 19 games played. So, as you said, Fraser, they're well into the league. It's not even just they've started in front of us, they're well into it.
Yep.
They were beaten Saturday away from home to Honka. In the league, they've won only once in the last 5 games. They've lost all their games away from home. However, they've won 7 of their 9 home games, drawn the other 2. So they're undefeated, they're averaging attendance of over 3,000 in a 10,776 capacity Sonera Stadium. And as we know, they play on a FIFA 2-star artificial turf pitch. If you look at their past history, they've not got a great European pedigree. However, in the past few years, they look like they've come up. Last season, they were in the Europa League playoff where they got Schalke with Germany. The year before, the third qualifier, they got Dynamo Zagreb. The year before in the Europa League, they got Besiktas. The year before that, Partizan Belgrade. So as if they've always come up against a really hard team. But ultimately, they're rated 191st in the UEFA club ranking. Motherwell are 186, just to kind of prove where they are. So, Fraser, what's your early thinkings about the game on Wednesday?
I think we will win at home. I'm concerned we've looked a bit shot shy, in the pre-season games. We've looked a bit toothless, in regards to like the Norwich game, the Inter Milan game. I know that it's only pre-season and the serious stuff starts on Wednesday. I think we need to win by 3 goals, and I'm actually going to say that. I think there's no doubt we'll definitely concede in Helsinki. That's just the pessimism of a Celtic fan away from home in Europe, coming out in me, but I think we need to win by 3 goals. I also think it's a howler of a draw. I think it's probably, we had this discussion, Scott, that out of them, I think, was it Molde was the other team?
Yeah.
They're pretty much the best team we could have got. And that's just our luck. It just doesn't matter. As a Celtic fan, you always just expect to get the best team out of the teams that you can possibly get, you know. So, whilst not overly worried about it, I think we need to score a few goals at Celtic Park, to go through the rounds comfortably.
Johnny?
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with Fraser. I'm a bit concerned about the scoring the 3 goals, which I agree we need to win. We need to score 3. We might concede 1, but if we score 3, we go over there. I think we are capable of scoring over there, even if I think we'll concede at least 1. I watched somebody put the highlights of their game for the weekend on the huddle board, and they look kind of good going forward, but their defence looks honking. But we've got to attack more than, I mind the Sion game last year. We drew nothing each against Sion, didn't we?
Drew nothing each at home, yeah.
Boring game. We just never really done much in the attacking sense. It was as if that was the way we lined up to play, was just kind of don't lose a goal. So we need to go for the jugular this time.
That's kind of happened sorry to cut you off, John, that's kind of happened under Neil Lennon in the past though. I mean, if you remember the game, who was it? In
Utrecht?
Was it Utrecht? Ah, yes, it was Utrecht, exactly. And you felt we had them on their legs, and and then we just stopped, and we kind of went away, we were happy, and you were sitting there going, we could have stuck another couple of goals in there. I'm worried by the fact we're at home first. I'd like to have brought it back to Celtic Park knowing what we've got to do, but we should be good enough. What do you think, Johnny, about the artificial turf? Do you think it's going to hinder us?
Well, it's an older version, isn't it? That's so tough as well. It's not like it's been laid in the last year or 2.
No. It was laid down in 2009. But I don't think for it still to be used, I would expect it would still be in a decent nick. Because it's a FIFA level 2, which is, I think it's not, that means you can't play international real games on it. They can play friendlies on it, but they can't play real games, international games on it. Which you wonder why they then allow you to play European competitions on it.
FIFA for the input.
I suppose, aye. Well, I don't know. So, what team would you go for, Fraser? I mean, how would you set up?
I would start basically with near enough the team that started against Inter Milan, except I would take Lustig out.
Fair enough, for anybody who doesn't know the team, just go through it.
Yeah, the team basically was Foster in goals, Adam Matthews right back, Callum Mulgrew centre half, Michael Lustig centre half, and Emilio Ezagiri left back. It was then Samaras left midfield, Wanyama and Ledley in the centre, with who was out right mid, John?
Commons.
with Chris Commons and with Hooper and Stokes up front. But Commons kind of floated around in the hole as well. And, but I would take Lustig out the team. And I would, if Ronya's not fit, I would move Wanyama back there. And I would have someone else, whether they're available, i.e. like a kind of Kyle Brown, begin into the middle of the park. That would be the team. And if Stokes is alright, it would be Hooper and Stokes up front.
Johnny?
Well, don't know if I agree with that. And I think Rogner was just rested, I think, at the weekend, so I fully expect him to come back.
Did he not get a wee strain against Norwich?
But Lennon was saying I've seen his quote saying he just rested him. And that Brown was just rested because he's just had come back for surgery or something like that. And that Kevin Wilson should be alright for Wednesday, which is a worry.
Definitely.
But you've got to think Brown's going to come back again, which you maybe think's going to unsettle us a wee bit. Because it works really well with Wanyama and Ledley in the middle. I think Kyle's injured as well, is he?
He has been injured, aye, but I don't know how he's sitting now. I think he might be available.
Mm-hmm. But he's kind of, he missed Saturday, did he know, because he tweaked something on Saturday morning, was it? He tweeted anyway that he wasn't playing early doors on Saturday morning, so I don't even know if that's a precautionary thing.
Yeah. And then you've got Wee Forrest as well. Apparently he took a knock and 10, but he should be okay. Not to have him straight back in a teammate on the right. So I think if you're watching those highlights, he looked as though he could get to them big time. And he's looked quite impressive for me in pre-season. My big worry is that Stokes isn't fit. And that he either plays one up front or plays Bangura. Because Bangura's pretty much a man down, and then if you're playing one up front at home, then you're probably not going to get your 3 goals that you want.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I'd play Tony Watt before I'd play Bangura as well.
What about Samaras?
Samaras at Parkhead, it works well with him and Azagua, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They look really good.
Keep him on the left, you wouldn't even think about sticking him up top, nah.
Nah, I'd put him out on the left, he's much better there.
To kind of go back though, John, right, you were saying you'd seen your highlights. What really, give us a wee bit more analysis on what stood out that Celtic can kind of capitalise on?
There was the ball in between the centre half and the fullback, which you could see somebody doing, and Wee Forrest getting on the end of it and getting a cross in.
So are we talking about we're going to be needing pace there?
It was a wee bit of intricate passing through the middle, and then somebody putting the ball through for the wee man to go on the end of it. And even him taking on the fullback as well.
So maybe then you're better off going with the 4-5-1 with the 2 wide guys pushed up on the fullback, no?
Yeah, but with the one up front, you're always the danger of your one forward guys isolated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see, hopefully Stokes is fit and won't have to worry about it.
But as you say, we're going to come to the pre-season and the signings in a minute. But it is worrying that we're going into our first game of the season and we're worrying about not having adequate replacements for guys like Stokes. But it's just, you wonder why guys like Tony Watt, who came in last season, made an impression. Everybody seems really impressed with his overall play and his attitude and stuff like that. And then he's dropped back into the development squad for the games against Partick Thistle, etc. I mean, did he, I think he scored a goal the weekend against Cliftonville there.
Yep.
And a number 11. I understand the boy Twarzett's getting used, and everything I've seen him, the boy looks like he's going to be cracking.
Yep.
Should Tony Watt not be then? Or is it more, he's putting more faith into Bangura to challenge him? I mean, Darryl Murphy's played more friendlies than Tony Watt this summer. What do you think?
Don't mention Darryl Murphy. Oh, sorry, on you go, Fraser.
Well, Darryl Murphy's going to be in the squad though. He's going to be on that bench come Wednesday night.
Do you think so?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't get my head around the fact that the guy's even getting a game in a friendly. It shouldn't have been, it should be, just be getting freed.
But see, to be perfectly honest though, and I've said it on this podcast before about Bangura, but is there anything that Bangura shows you that you would put him before Darryl Murphy? Darryl Murphy showed he could score a penalty at least. You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of worry about the fact that we've no got the boy Tony Watt isn't there, and as you say, if Tony Stokes is missing or Gary Hooper's missing, then we're relying on sticking Big Sammy up top, who I think Celtic fans as a whole has agreed isn't his best position. I think Neil Lennon's come out and said it, and then you're relying on Bangura and Daryl Murphy. Fraser.
If I would rather, instead of playing Bangura or Daryl Murphy, we did go one up front, in all honesty. And just keep in, whether it's Hooper and Samaras and Forrest out in the wing, like John said, it's not a bad idea to do that. Honestly, Bangura on Saturday, come on the park, and John, I think you agree with me here. Honestly, it was about 20 minutes before he touched the ball. And, any intricate passing moves that were happening, as soon as it went to him, he would give it away. The guy just looks really, I mean, I know we said he looks like a real hardy, but see now, you know that way you're like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll get a good pre-season under his belt and things might change with him. He looks honking. Honestly, he really does. He looks a poor footballer. Daryl Murphy on, Tuesday night couldn't even run. I swear to God, I'd lap him. I'd lap him in a race. and you know how slow I am. And, he couldn't even run. He couldn't turn. I was like that. Jeez, oh. He just looked, he didn't win one ball in the air, and that's that, I would say that is his kind of strongest point, and he was playing against kind of Premiership defenders, guys that are big, strong guys. That should be the battles that Murphy should look okay in, you know, and that, I thought it was terrible. So, I would rather just, like you said, I wouldn't even consider them. Bangura, if we need to play one up front, we just do it.
Mm-hmm.
We play one up front.
I wouldn't be far away for that, Fraser. I really wouldn't be. See, Bangura, I really wanted him to work, right? And it comes more down to guys writing him off. Like, see, Marty on this podcast, he's been on the ball a couple of times, but he's a wee bit stubborn, as we all know, Johnny. And, he says, nah, the guy's a diddy, and I was kind of going, oh no, maybe there's something. But I'm watching this boy, was it Dundee United last season? He got practically a whole game, and he was hopeless. And then there was a game against Norwich at the weekend, and it was a break, and the ball came to him, and all the boy needed to do really was square in Darren Murphy, or run it, because he's got pace, and he stood there, and he tried to beat the guy, and he lost it. I mean, all he would try to do, and I just get a feeling that he thinks he's better than he is. Do you know what I mean? He really thinks he's this silky football player, when ultimately, play the simple ball and go into the ball and finish. See if you stay that, we'll appreciate you more. Losing the ball and intricate attacks just brings the host right on top of you, and that's what happened to Samaras for years. As much as people want to say, oh, Samaras was unfairly picked upon, Samaras used to lose the ball in stupid areas and stuff, but the big man's improved that way, and we know he's no striker, so he's now creating goals. And if we're going to stick with Bangura's got to learn how to play in this team. And I'm like you, Fraser, you're getting to the point, it's going to turn on him, and see, to be perfectly honest, I don't think that's the fans' fault. Because when you're breaking away, and this guy gets the ball, and he stands and tries to beat somebody, and he can't do it, well, do you know what? You shouldn't be playing.
Yep.
I'd agree with you wholeheartedly. I think you guys have both played football and all that. 4-5-1 isn't necessarily a negative formation, especially if you've got two really attack-minded, guys on the left and right. And in Young Forest, in my opinion, we've got a really, really potentially great football player there.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I wouldn't go over one up front at all, man. Even with the two guys in the wings, I think we've got to play two up front.
So Stokes doesn't make it, or Stokes is half injured? Does he just play Stokes?
If he's not fit, he's not fit. He'll only play if he's fit enough.
But that's nonsense. You know that was not happening. You know that Stokes will get in there and say, yes, I'm available, and he'll play. If he can run, he'll play. And I think we've played injured guys in the past, and it's never ever worked for us. I can never ever remember a time saying that was worth a gamble.
I'm not saying playing Stokes if he's not fully fit. I'm saying play. I think he'll play Bangura if Stokes isn't fit. And I'd probably rather have done that than play one up front.
Right, okay.
Cause he'll do running, he'll do something. I just think we need to play two up front. If we play two up front, I think we'll get the goals. I think if we play one up front, we'll struggle. Especially if we don't score early doors.
Aye. Well, the fans will get a bit to play this Wednesday as well. Because I can see it being a frustrating night, because we're sitting here talking now. It goes back to the days, do you remember when we played the Huns and we were all sitting and going, we should beat them 5-6-7-0, and you went there and you end up getting beat at Ibrox and stuff like that, and you were going to win the league. Celtic fans have got to calm the heat, and give the club everything it's got, and they give the team every bit of support, because I think it's going to be just a really frustrating night. But if we work at it, we've got to improve in our possession. I mean, there's to kind of go back to the Inter game. How did the possession look? Did we look more comfortable in the ball, Fraser?
Yeah, the possession was excellent. It was really, Wanyama's maintaining of the ball is just, like I says, I think I've said that about 3 times now, it's on a different level. He keeps possession so well. He doesn't lose the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. Like when he's got it, and he'll get it out wide, he'll get it to Matthews, he'll get it to Ezageri. And I thought, I'm sure John will agree with me, I thought we kept the ball really, really well. There was a couple of intricate passing movements that were excellent, you know.
We've done well. It was the best pre-season by far, which Neil Lennon said himself after the game.
So the one game I've missed in I don't know how long, and it was bloody great. I'm happy.
So don't bother going on Wednesday then.
Don't go on Wednesday. Thanks for that. Aye. Okay, that kind of covers that. So I think we're going to have a wee break. We'll move on to part 2 where we'll just talk about the team, the season ahead, and hopefully some signings and stuff. Okay. Well, we'll move on now and we'll have a wee look at the Celtic squad and the season ahead. We've seen over the past week and a bit, since it's been confirmed that the Huns or Sevco or whatever we're calling them, they're Rangers FC, now that they're done playing in the rightful place. I'm hearing for a fact that we're down in season tickets, so we've not made any big major signings. We've signed Fraser Forster up, which I think everybody kind of agrees it's a good move, especially for the future. You're getting a boy for £2 million. But there seems to be a lack of movement in other areas where everybody seems to think we need them. Fraser, what's your thinking?
Well, I think we've even come out and said we need to sell to buy. Problem is, we've got and we've mentioned them earlier on in the podcast, we've got guys like Murphy, we've got guys like Bangura that nobody wants to buy. Nobody will buy these guys. And they're probably on decent dough as well, which is kind of one of the problems. We all know we need a striker and we need a centre half desperately. The main one that everybody's been talking about and the kind of guy that's you could probably get a real good value for is Key. But nothing's going to happen with him until after these Olympics, because that's almost going to be his kind of his show, if you like, to put him out there in the market. I think if there is going to be anybody sold, I would say it would probably be him. Now I'm hearing that Aston Villa had a bid rejected for Gary Hooper yesterday, and it's basically that we can't be looking to sell guys like that, whether the bid's really good or not. The guys we've got, the only player I reckon we could afford to get short of that was a kind of first teamer last season is probably is Key. But the other guys we just can't punt. Kelvin Wilson, another one. We'll not be able to punt him. He's rubbish, absolutely rubbish, you know. So we at the minute we need to do the best with what we've got. It's great to see some young guys coming in. Sevco, because they're in the lower division, these young guys will get a chance. McGeoch, Twardzik, and Tony Watt that we spoke about earlier. I firmly believe that these guys will play quite a big part this season. So here's hoping. But I don't think you're going to see anybody getting sold until after the Olympics.
Well, it's interesting to say that. I'm sitting on Twitter just now and a kind of semi-famous tweeter by the Celtic connections is a guy, Stephen Monaghan, and he's just tweeted that Neil Lennon just Facebooked that Key will be away to QPR if he passes medical. Deal to be confirmed in the week to come.
Really?
There you go. That's that. I don't know. That might be a lot of nonsense. We'll call him out next week if it is, but this is what he just tweeted. What do you feel about that, John?
Well, it's kind of ideal, isn't it? He's the one guy that you think we could afford to sell and get really good money for. Then that, because if we don't get in the Champions League, there'll be nothing getting spent. If we sell Key the new, then I think we'll spend a bit of that money, and the rest of it will go for the deficit with Sevco being well there. I don't even reckon we'll sign a centre half. I think he'll sign that Henriksen boy for the Norwegian boy. I think we'll sign him to replace Key. Then I think we'll only sign a striker and a centre half if we get in the Champions League. That's what I've been saying to people for the last couple of weeks. It's just the way the comments and stuff, that's the way I think it will go.
It kind of goes back to what Fraser was saying earlier on, that it really does look like Lustig's been edged in to be that centre half, doesn't he? Rather than signing anybody.
He's so skinny, Lustig. I mean, honestly, I was at half time yesterday. I seen Big Bobo going up to get his free scran at half time in the main stand, and then you've just been watching Lustig, and you're like, God, you're so skinny. And you see Big Bobo, and you just want to give him a strip to get him back in the park. And any big centre forward's going to battle Lustig about the place, isn't he?
Again, that's exactly what I was going to bring up, and he did get bullied. He get bullied off of wingers. He get bullied off of forwards. I don't know. I still think Lustig will come all right for Celtic, but I don't see him being the great centre half. And going back to that game that Fraser was saying, if you're dropping Victor Wanyama in there, you're losing something at the midfield. Cause I agree with Fra. Wanyama's a class act, and that big boy should be him and Fraser Foster. There's your two names on there. Boom. Stick them down. Fraser, so the thing about the Key one, now that Marty's not here to totally desecrate the guy, we've been crying out for somebody to hold the ball and for us possession, because next season we've got a feeling that every game at Parkhead, basically every game in the league is going to be 10 men against us. Should this guy not be getting that space now? Or is it totally done that he's a most sellable asset? Let's get shot and start again. Is there no comeback from now?
I just think it suits everybody. I think it suits. I think he's quite a good player. I'm not overly critical of him. I think he did go missing in certain games against the old Rangers. He just wouldn't turn up for them. But I did think, possession wise, he's the kind of player. I think he would just be better suited. I don't even think he's suited to English league football, by the way. I think he would be better like in a European team, like in Spain or in Italy or somewhere like that. But I think it just suits all parties. It suits probably Key, and it suits us to get short of him because we'll get good money for him as well. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I just heard recently which is bizarre if we are selling him, is the fact that we've just set up the Korean website.
Yeah.
And we're getting, and if we're getting short of him, you're kind of like that. Well, what was the point in that? Do you know what I mean? But I just think it suits everybody. I think all the fans would say that the Key is out of them all. Well, it's not going to be. You wouldn't want it to be Wanyama or Kayal.
No.
Or Ledley, would you? You wouldn't. Key would be the one out of them that you would say, yeah, let's sell him, because I think we've all got good money for him, by the way. He's a brand, isn't he? He's almost like a brand.
That's it. That's half the criticism that goes with him, isn't it?
Yep. But it's probably been half the plan as well. You sign a young Korean player who's highly regarded over there, sell him for 2 million. He does well at you, sell him to Premiership for 7 or 8 million. Then you say the next up and coming Korean star, come to us, we'll sell you onto the Premiership in a few years.
Yep. 100%, John. I mean, this is what we've signed all these guys for, though. Let's no kid ourselves on. These guys aren't joining Celtic to sit here for. I mean, they might say they know I love the club and I love being here and stuff, but 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, they're going to be going, right, I've done my turn, and it's time to go down the road and earn a good bit of shekels out it, because ordinary players earn a barrel load of money down in that league, and I don't think any Celtic fan can criticise anybody who says I want to make a step up. I have my worry about selling anybody. Like Fraser was saying, Gary Hooper has been linked with Aston Villa. Who was it? Wanyama linked with Arsenal. As Richie tweeted yesterday, he's been called the new Marcel Desailly. Is it 'cause I'm black? So I don't know. I'm sceptical of the whole thing. I'm really, as a Celtic fan, I don't think we should be selling anybody who doesn't want to leave, because I don't believe that the club will invest it back in, personally. I look on Twitter every day and somebody says, Arsenal are offering £10 million for Kyle. Oh, grab it. I'll drive him down. But it's not as if that £10 million all gets taken off your season ticket, does it? Because as much as Aidan McGeady went for £9.5 million and probably saved us because we never get in the Champions League or something, but we hardly seen it reinvested into the squad. I mean, we keep talking about this. We want to be like Porto and we want to be like Brøndby and stuff and Ajax. Well, these guys go out and invest it back into youth. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite worrying. We're sitting here talking about centre half. Every Celtic wants a centre half and we need a centre forward. Tony Watt came in last season and he's been scoring goals at every level, yet we're still needing a centre forward. I think all the best teams look at the best teams in the world. They just fling their young guys in because they trust them. This boy Mark Fraser, is it Marcus Fraser?
Yep.
Yeah.
Marcus Fraser came in, had a great game at centre half, never to be seen again. I mean, are we too cautious?
I don't think this season we will be. I think this is the best opportunity. It's going to happen. I think you're talking about investing money in youth. I think we have invested money in youth and we're going to reap the benefit in the next couple of years. There's going to be countless players coming through.
I don't mean it in that, John. I don't mean it. Of course, we've put a lot of money into youth development and it's a great thing. I was talking to a Dundee fan. We were talking about the whole situation in Scottish football. And I was saying, well, Celtic will maybe go for the guy Johnny Russell and Celtic will maybe go, and we were talking about Good Willie, and he went, see these guys aren't good enough for Celtic. And I was looking at him and I was going, well, they look great. And he says, all you're seeing them is once every blue moon. He says, these guys aren't good enough to turn up and play in your team every week. And it's Good Willie had a lot of pace. He was going, and he's saying, see all these young guys, you have probably got equally or not better in your own youth development. You just don't use it. And it's a fair comment. I agree with you saying, Johnny. Them going to the wall and them turning up down there maybe allows us a wee bit more scope to release the boys. However, that's an excuse. These guys should have been in last year, in my opinion. We got McGeoch back after the hunch, and we must have sold the club to McGeoch as, you'll be playing, you'll be part of this first time squad. And there was times where I think he should have been in. Loads of times he should have been in.
Yep.
I hope Neil Lennon is not too cautious. And Europe, why not Europe? If we're going to trust the guys, let's stick them in now. I think Watt and Fraser, if they're good enough, should have been in our first team plans in pre-season.
We've already proved, bleeding a youngster in Europe can actually make his whole career. John Kennedy, David Marshall, for example.
Exactly, mate, exactly.
And we had to play them. We didn't have any choice, but it ended up making them first team players because they done so well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't disagree with you. As last season, Scott, we had to win the league. I know they get deducted the 10 points and all that, but at one point, as we've spoken about previously in another podcast, at one point we weren't looking great and it was just essential that we won the league.
Mm-hmm.
But, now, we've spoken about Sevco being in Division 3. I think if any young lad now in that development team is showing real promise, I think there's no doubt he'll start against one of the lower place teams in the league. I don't think there's any doubt about that now.
It's good. But then, maybe we're kind of contradicting ourselves because we're sitting here now saying all these boys should get a go. I'm basically saying we should get a go because I do not believe that it is in Neil Lennon's remit or Peter Law's remit to be going out and if we get £9 million, if we get £8 million, £7 million, whatever, I don't believe that we would go out and invest that £7 million back into the playing squad.
No,
of course we won't.
The most we've spent on players $4 million, something like that, and that was a few seasons ago now, wasn't it?
Well, who was the last guy we spent that amount of dough on?
Scott Brown.
4.4 million?
Yeah.
There you go. So, I don't know. What do we really want as Celtic fans now? Because it's going to be really tight for the next, 4 or 5 seasons. Let's not kid ourselves on. without them, it was terrible, right? So people who wanted, guys like Neil Doncaster who wanted the status quo of having them back in the Premier League, only wanted it in for their salary and for their deal, their crappy Sky deal that they got. They only wanted that in. And anybody who says they should bring him back in for the good of Scottish football, they never watched Scottish football. Scottish football's honking. Really, really bad. The European our teams get humped out of Europe. I mean, the top of the Huns get a ban for Europe. The Huns should get a ban for Europe the way they performed last season, but they get pumped out half of nobody's. You know what I mean? I'm kind of having a tangent here with this one, but I just think it's going to be grim for the next few years. And are we going to see if we sell Key, we should really be going and looking and getting bodies in the new, because see in the next couple of years, we're going to struggle to attract anybody, in my opinion. And I'm talking about the Scottish League is going to be talked down so much that it's going to be a struggle to bring guys like Gary Hooper, guys playing in the first division, League One in England. They're going to be going, Scottish football's even worse than it was. So I think this is a year that we should be going and getting the young hopefuls again. And I kind of hope you're right, John, about the boy, is it Henriksen for Rosenborg?
Yeah, he's on the 19 as well.
It's a great thing. Again, what goes against my argument is that guys like Key, as you say, Johnny, guys who'll go Celtic are a good step up to them, but I don't know.
But that's what we are. If you're being realistic, that's what we are.
Of course. Yeah.
Up, you know. A few years ago we weren't, but we are now. And we need to just keep finding guys like Kayal and Izagüe. And get back to all the young boys. Jackson Irvine came on, who I've mentioned before. He came on Saturday for the last 20 minutes or something like that, 25 minutes, and he looked pretty good. I thought he was a centre mid, but he came on at centre half, and he's really calm in the ball. So he's really, really calm. He always looks and does the right pass.
Every time you're on the Twitter, just keeping up to date with Celtic youth stuff and all that, his name always stands out, doesn't it? His name always appears as in player of the tournament. He's had a great game and stuff like that. So maybe he's the guy that we're putting a wee bit of faith in. Anybody in the reserves that you know, Fraser? Or the youth, should I say?
Just the obvious ones. The boys are. Just getting back to Jackson Irvine, he actually tweeted after Saturday, and it was for the first time it was a Celtic youth player tweeting that he wasn't in Nando's. Right? It was actually it was very mature. It said it was fantastic to get my first ever appearance. This is where the real hard work starts. And I just thought that was really, really mature. And apparently he is a very mature lad. I think he's a captain and all that, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
So I was quite impressed with that, to be honest, because I mean, I follow Tony Watt and his tweets are just ludicrous, honestly. It's, he's just never out of Nando's. I think he just lives in there.
What was his part in Saturday after the Cliftonville game? He seemed doing this, didn't he?
He said basically the whole team played very, very poorly. And he gave Cliftonville a lot of credit for how hard the game it was, but he was very disappointed with the way the team played. So, I don't know, they maybe got a bit of doing. I don't really know any. The one that always, the obvious ones is the Twardzic twins. Paul George, who obviously got his leg broken. He is apparently a real player, Paul George, you know, so they're the guys you kind of keep your eye on. You do know all the names of all the young lads, and there's the boy Keatings as well,
Yeah, he's part of the first team squad, but I think he gets punted out on loan straight away, does he know?
He's a goal, I mean, in the reserves he's a goal scoring phenomenon. It's just, I don't know why he's considered.
There's a wee boy that played against Norwich down at Carrow Road, Stuart Finlay, he's only 17.
That's right.
He's from Cambuslang, he's meant to be really good.
How young also did that game, man?
He's a wee ginger boy, isn't he? He looks about 12.
Right, yeah.
But there's a boy McGregor. He's a striker, I think, and the boy Chalmers at left back. They never seem to get mentioned, and they always seem to be, McGregor always seems to be scoring, and he's never been touted for the first team. It's a bit strange.
McGregor, was it?
Yeah, when you got other guys and you don't see him getting noticed, then we don't see them getting coached every day, so we can't really give a full opinion on
I
what
think
these guys are capable of.
the boy Greg was on the bench in one of the Europa League games last year. I can't remember what game,
There you
but
go.
I think he was. But I don't know if that was just because we no bodies or something or other. Anything else you want to add there, lads? Do you want to talk about the news club in Scotland and how they're going today?
Not really. They caused an upset, didn't they? Beating their team there.
Beat my Coopen. Damn you, Brighton. Well, lads, I think that's pretty comprehensive. Before we go, so, give us a wee thought. Give me a prediction. What do you think on Wednesday night, Johnny boy?
3-1.
3-1. They'll score?
Yeah, they've got a wee 17-year-old guy. What's his name? Joel Pinjapalo or something like that. He scored 33 goals for the reserves in 20 odd games, and then he came on as a sub in his first league game and scored a hat-trick in 3 minutes. He scored 2 goals against Reykjavik as well.
Sign him.
So it'll be good to see him. He might score. But I think we'll concede, but I think we'll score a few. Only if we play 2 up front. No.
Fraser?
I think we'll win. Yeah, I think we'll win comfortably at home. I do, I'm really apprehensive about away from home. I think we'll maybe even get beat. So I think, I'll say 3-0.
3-0.
3-0 at Celtic Park.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with either one of them, I must admit. But, I'll go with yours, Fraser. 3-0. 3-0. Okay, lads, well, really glad to have you on tonight, and I've enjoyed that wee par. So, Fraser, good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Johnny, good night, pal.
Good night.
All the best, lads. That's us for the first pod of the upcoming season. Hope you enjoyed our ranting and ravings. Now that the season is all but underway, pretty sure we'll be back on regular. We've still got a couple of interviews to get done, and we'll be punting them out as soon as we can. As we start our second season, we would like to thank all the guys at Hail Media who have made this an easy transaction for us. And everybody who's took the time to download even one of our podcasts, we thank you also. Since our last podcast, the Celtic family were saddened to lose one of their own, in Joe McBride, as he passed away on the 11th of July. Joe was buried to a standing room only audience on the 17th. All at the podcast would like to wish our condolences to Joe's family and pay our respects to one of Celtic's true greats. So that just leaves me to say good night and God bless, and come on, Celtic, he's a good win on Wednesday. Hail, hail.